The decade following World War I, known as the Roaring Twenties, was marked by economic prosperity, technological advances, and cultural flourishing, especially in the United States. Stock markets soared, consumer goods like automobiles and radios became widely available, and jazz music symbolized the era's exuberance. The stock market became a focal point of economic speculation. Many Americans, from wealthy financiers to ordinary citizens, invested heavily in stocks, often buying on margin, borrowing money to purchase stocks. This speculative bubble created an illusion of endless growth, but it was built on fragile foundations. On October 24, 1929, known as Black Thursday, the stock market began to falter. And on October 29, 1929, known as Black Tuesday, it crashed spectacularly. The market lost billions of dollars in value in a single day, wiping out the savings and investments of countless individuals and businesses. The crash triggered a cascade of financial failures. Banks that had invested heavily in the stock market collapsed, businesses shuttered, and millions of people lost their jobs. The initial shock was felt most acutely in the United States, but quickly spread worldwide. As banks failed, credit dried up, leading to a severe contraction in economic activity. Businesses couldn't secure loans to operate, leading to widespread layoffs. Unemployment soared to unprecedented levels, reaching around 25% in the United States by 1933. The Great Depression was a global crisis. Countries around the world, especially those heavily reliant on American loans and trade, were deeply affected. International trade plummeted as countries imposed tariffs and protectionist measures to protect their own economies, exacerbating the downturn. Across the United States and other affected countries, scenes of human suffering became common. Bread lines and soup kitchens provided food for the destitute. Homeless encampments known as Hoovervilles, named derisively after U.S. President Herbert Hoover, sprang up in cities as people lost their homes. American farmers were hit particularly hard. Falling crop prices and widespread foreclosures drove many into poverty. In the Great Plains, a severe drought, combined with poor farming practices, led to the Dust Bowl, displacing thousands of farming families who migrated west in search of work. President Hoover's initial response to the crisis was based on a belief in limited government intervention. He encouraged voluntary measures by businesses to maintain wages and employment. But these measures were largely ineffective. Hoover's perceived inaction and adherence to laissez-faire principles drew widespread criticism. In 1932, Franklin D. Roosevelt was elected president with a promise of bold action. His administration launched the New Deal, a series of programs, public works projects, financial reforms, and regulations aimed at providing relief, recovery, and reform. Programs like the Civilian Conservation Corps, CCC, and the Works Progress Administration, WPA, provided jobs and support to millions of Americans. The Agricultural Adjustment Act, AAA, and the National Industrial Recovery Act, NIRA, sought to stabilize and revitalize key sectors of the economy. Measures such as the Glass-Steagall Act, which established the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC, and the Securities Exchange Act, which created the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, aimed to prevent future financial crises. The Great Depression deeply affected American culture and society. The struggle for survival fostered a sense of community and solidarity among those affected. Social and labor movements gained momentum, advocating for workers' rights and social justice. The hardships of the era were reflected in its art and literature. Photographers like Dorothea Lange captured haunting images of the Depression's human toll. Writers such as John Steinbeck, in novels like The Grapes of Wrath, depicted the plight of displaced farmers and the struggles of the working class. Around the world, governments responded to the Depression in various ways. In Europe, economic hardship contributed to political instability, fueling the rise of extremist movements, including fascism in Italy and Nazism in Germany. In Britain and France, more moderate approaches were taken, focusing on economic reforms and social welfare programs. The onset of World War II in 1939 marked a turning point. The massive military expenditures and mobilization for the war effort effectively ended the Great Depression. Factories retooled for war production. Unemployment plummeted, and economies across the world revived. The Great Depression led to lasting changes in economic policy and government intervention in the economy. The New Deal established a precedent for federal responsibility in ensuring economic stability and social welfare. Social security, unemployment insurance, and labor rights protections introduced during this period became foundational elements of the modern welfare state. The Great Depression left an indelible mark on the collective memory of those who lived through it. The resilience and solidarity of people during this time are often highlighted in cultural retrospectives, serving as a reminder of the hardships and the human spirit's capacity to endure and overcome adversity. The Great Depression was a cataclysmic event that reshaped the economic, political, and social landscape of the 20th century. It highlighted the vulnerabilities of an interconnected global economy and underscored the need for regulatory frameworks and social safety nets to protect against such crises. The era's challenges and the responses to them continue to inform economic policy and social welfare debates to this day. The legacy of the Great Depression is a testament to the importance of resilience, innovation, and the collective efforts of societies to navigate and overcome profound challenges.